Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Basking Broodscale on the draw for game one. Yeah, we can keep this. Also realizing my audio might still be a bit too loud. I just reset my PC. Let me lower this a bit down to here. Let me know in the comments if my audio is too low, if it's too high, somewhere in between. All right, we're gonna reveal Devourer. And also we're on the draw. Alright, let's take a peek and see what we find. A temple would be good, a Broodscale or blade would be good. Found the Broodscale, found the blade. In that case, let's go with the Broodscale. We draw. We play a Growth Bird Willows. We play a Vexing Bauble and pass. I'm realizing that animations are on. Enable animations. No, thank you. And pass. Cavern of Souls, naming Merfolk. Yeah, I was a bit afraid of that. Tide Shaper would kind of suck here, but we have a Seiju for the Rumble. We can dig a bit deeper. Master Pearl Trident's fine. Vexing Bauble does turn off all of their free counter magic, which is nice. And now I can play Flush Rake and pass. And they don't have many ways to interact with what's already on the board, which is nice. So, ooh, Saga and Merfolk. Oh, because they're playing Harbinger main. I understand. Interesting. Oh, I did not want to go to combat. Oh, because I don't have a stop on upkeep like I normally do. Yee. I need to adjust that. Let's see. We can play Beseiju. We can go with Rumble, or we can go for Broodscale. Broodscale is likely to be countered, so let's start with Rumble then. There's the Saga we need. Always yield. Or pressed until end of turn. And so we definitely want to stop on our upkeep. Set stop. And then set stop on theirs as well. Tishana's Tidebinder. That's fine. Now they could have probably countered the first trigger. Do you want to stop on their draw? And no stop needed on my end step. On their beginning combat, yes. And probably on their main phase. Oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, looks like that's the start of their main phase. No? Yeah, so I definitely need to stop here. There's a lot of beginning of combat triggers. So set stop here. Alright. We should be good. Saga's online. A little bit worried now about Shadowsphere. What am I playing against? This seems so odd. They'll attack. I'll take the 4 down to 14, sure. I'll have access to 5 mana. Draw. Saga draw. Cast Delighted Halfling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd be able to exile the Tishanas. Yes. Play Halfling. And pass. If they make a construct, we exile the Tishanas, put Fleshraker back online. Because shields are down. Ramp and exile. That way we also have access to our Devourer. And done. Alright. I'll pass. You make a construct. That's fine. We're getting exceedingly close to just comboing off. But if not, we have our mid-range plan with Devourer. Makes another construct. Tis a 3/3. Okay. Looks like the MTGO audio might be a little bit loud. Let me lower that as well. Down to 15. They play another Saga. Yes, that's fine. They have an Aether Spellbomb. Interesting. They have no blue, though. Equip Shadow Spear. Oh, their shield's down now. Okay. I'll take 5 down to 9. No issues there, in my opinion. Draw. Trigger. Another halfling. So in that case, let's see how much mana we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be 7. And then we'd have 7 and 1 left over. Yes. So we might as well play the Broodscale now. Trigger. Always yield. And always yield. ETBs. So 6, 7, or rather 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That way we can also play the halfling. Actually, no, what I can do is instead this. Not play the halfling, instead hold up Saga. Yes, that probably makes a bit more sense. So, trigger, trigger. Always yield. Or rather, until the turn, when to press always yield. Everything's like in a slightly different place than normal. Alright, we have the Saga. No attacks. They can bounce the Devourer. That's fine. We have at least one blocker, which is really all I need. They need to hold up the Aether Spellbomb too is the problem. Aether Vial's fine. They can Spellbomb the Devourer, which would be fine. So we can go to blocks. And I can just put you in front of you and you in front of you, and that would be okay. You can make a bigger construct, or you can bounce it and hit me for 6. That's fine either ways. Yes. Makes a bigger construct. That resolves. I'll then make a construct of my own. Actually, I could just make a spawn. That might be better. Yeah, just make another spawn. So adapt. Let us make a construct. take 1. You have no blue up, though. And I have my Saga on board. So this should be lethal damage. Oh, they're trying to assign non-lethal damage to Devourer? Weird. And this should be just the game. So, Saga trigger, float. Yeah, why did it not hold up blue? That's confusing to me. So, equip to Broodscale. And then adapt. This is definitely an interesting list. I see what they're going for. And then from here we just win. Always yield. Alright. Doesn't look like my opponent's going to concede, so we'll just go through the motions. I guess like Code Ancient Stirring to try and find another Flesh Rake or another Blade to make things go a little bit faster. Since they're clearly not willing to. Oh, there's the Ballista. That works. So right now we're not there yet. 6. 7. I guess technically 8, 9. 10. Alright, here we go. I mean, is this any faster? Probably not. Because now I have to click through with mana. Ugh. Yeah, probably should have just kept on clicking spawns. And done. I guess what I can do, actually, is ping you. Yeah, I guess this does work. I should have just put it to 6 or 7 so I could attack. Yeah, that works. Alright, let's go to combat. And that's the game. This is Merfolk. Merfolk. Win for game 1. Vexing Bauble's very good here. Ooh. Everything has that adjusted size again. Alright, let's fix this real quick. Minimize you. See, on one hand, I want to bring this like all the way up. How's this even sorted? Sort by mana value. Oh, it's sorted by name, that's why. Oh, that honestly is kind of worse. Not gonna lie. Now Moto is not all too responsive right now, it feels like. You okay, Moto? My computer's fine. After doing the full restore, it is running so much better. The main reason why I even did the restore in the first place was because one drive was corrupted. So knowing full well how that goes, it's just better for me to system restore. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that because I'm burning too much time. Wastecape Battle Mage is interesting. Pithy Needle's interesting. Dismember's a yes. Fire Spout actually might be really good here. If we were to do like this, we cut 2 Ballista, 1 Flesh Rake. We can cut the Haywire Mite for all intent and purpose. And then cut a Devourer. Seems reasonable. Yeah, that seems reasonable. So yeah, definitely need to adjust this further. All right, though. Let's run it back. We have Fire Spout, we have Halfling Rumble, Drums, Saga. Yeah, I mean, we're just missing a Broodscale at this point. We'll pass. Tapped. Alright. Draw. Devourer. Turn late there, bud. Halfling. And pass. Of course, one downside of the Halfling is that it will get eaten by the Fire Spout. We'll pass. Then go Saga, Drum, Rumble, then have another mana left, which is nice. Saga trigger. Yep. Blue, colorless, Tide Shaper, Rude. That's fine though. We have the Drum. And they want to counter it. They'll probably have a Flare of Denial. Grove of the Burn Willows works as well. I do want to go with the Saga though. Saga trigger. Cast Drum. Rumble for green. There's Flesh Rake. We'll grab Flesh Rake. And we'll pass. And pass. Saga trigger. I mean, I guess they can just, yeah, skip the turn to make constructs. Saga trigger. No reason to play the Flesh Rake into a counter spell here. So I think we just play the Grove. And pass. No attacks. We could K command here. Saga trigger. Do you make another construct? You do. Interesting. They're very all in on the construct plan, which I find fascinating. I will K command at this point. So target me, target me. I really don't need the construct right now. And done. So if they're going to counter this, they would need a flare. Yep, that's fine. I'm fine eating that. Probably shouldn't have sacked the spawn in reality, but that's okay. We can make this one still. Pithy Needle, naming Blade of the Blood Chief. You have a Beseiju to work around that. So that's fine. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a 3. Yep. Draw. Stirrings. Yeah, you want to hold the Beseiju, so I'm just going to float then. Again, probably should have kept the spawn in retrospect. I think still grabbing the blade is correct. And then let's fire off Stirrings. We'll gain them a life. Don't care about that too much. There's Broodscale, there's Cavernous Souls, there's another K command. K command could actually be beneficial here. We'll go Broodscale, however. Flesh Rake. Yeah, I think I only have one. No, I have 2 Beseiju. So I could play the Beseiju, play the Broodscale. We also could just play the Beseiju, so that way I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's do that. Play the Broodscale. Always yield. Because right now shields are down. at this point, we can pass. We'll take the 6. That's not much of an issue. We can start making blockers with the Glaring Flesh Rake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, one short of Devourer. Yeah, again, should have probably kept that spawn. 2. Could be another Tide Shaper. Adept. Shows Drowners. They're saying that they can return anything to my library, theoretically. Draw. Cast Ancient Stirrings again. Another Glaring Flesh Rake. Yes, that would be good. Any order. 1, 2, and 3. Triggers. And the combo's not the only way we can kill you. Alright, so at that point, I'll pass. No reason to attack. I guess we could attack the Broodscale, actually. Should have done that. So I'll attack with the constructs. Go to blocks. We block. We block. We block. And then float green, tapping spawn, sack spawn, trigger, always yield. And adapt. Always yes. Always yield. Triggers. And at that point, we're good. Alright. Draw. Halflane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unfortunately, I can't actually play much here. Probably want to hold back a couple blockers. There's the Floodlit Drowners. So in that case, let's attack the Broodscale. I guess they'll Drowner now. What do you tap is the question. Broodscale? Sure, that's fine. Not sure that's the right move, though. I feel like the Flesh Rakes are a little bit more of an issue here in the grand scheme. We'll play the halfling again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're one short. Guess could have held back a spawn again. No attacks. I guess we could attack the halfling. There's an argument that could be reasonable. But we'll get a second main. Play another halfling, and pass. So yeah, they can return the Broodscale to library, but I'm not too perturbed by that, because again, I think I just went off the Flesh Rakes here. And that would be their entire turn as well, if they do get rid of it. Sporific Springs, sure. Tapped. Attacking, this would be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we'll take the 8. Down to 2. Does it only have sorcery speed? No, it's not. That is important to note. Blade of Blood Chief is mana neutral, so Blade. Actually, it's mana positive here because we have 2. Down to 11, and I think I might have lethal if they have nothing else. And triggers on the stack. Worst comes to worst, I have blockers for days next turn. Always yield. So you could have a consign. You could bounce my Broodscale back to library, which again, not all too perturbed about. There's a flare. Sure, that's more than fine. Do you have a consign on top of which? If you consign the 2 Fleshraker triggers, that would be smart. That doesn't look like that's the case. Alright, down to 7. A little bit concerned that they could have another Drowner in hand and could flash it in to block a Fleshrake. Let's go to combat, see if they would do it. I feel like they would do it then. Yeah. There's another Drowner. Targeting what? Targeting a Fleshrake. Yep. That is fine. I have 4 blockers. I won't attack at this point then. Because we have Delayed Halfling to block, we have the Spawns to block, and that should be more than enough. We just need to draw into a single colorless spell. Would put us into a pretty good position. Boseiju would be good. I guess I should have expected the Pithing Needle given that they're on sagas. Yeah. Alright, what say you, opponent? You're at 7, I'm at 2. I have blockers for days. And hold. Saga trigger. Yep, so you can make more constructs next turn. Then grab a Shadow Spear to try and close it out, so I need to win before then. Attack. So blocks. Drowner down. Triggers on the blade. Opponent goes to the end step, and we'll untap and draw. Ballista. I mean, this is pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Done. Triggers. Paying cost for Tidebinder. Tidebinders kind of counter one of the Fleshrakes? Sure. That is fine. problem here is I have lethal. So ping 1, ping 2, triggers. And then attacking with Glaring Fleshwake Broodscale for the win. GG's. Alright. And that should be lethal damage. Yeah, definitely an interesting Merfolk brew. Was not expecting that in the slightest with the sagas, but it kind of makes a bit of sense. It's definitely unique. It's interesting. But with that being said, we'll be back for match number 2. Alright, we're back for match 2 on the play for game 1. We have Saga, we have Traverse. I mean, we're just missing the Broodscale. So in that case, I will play E10, Blade, and pass. And pass. Forest, Amulet, draw. E-temp. Saga trigger. Ballista. X1. And pass. And hold. Golgari Rot Farm. I don't think that's in the normal versions anymore. That's a Spelunking. Interesting. Draws a card, plays a land. Yeah, Rot Farm isn't as common anymore, I don't believe. Normally it's just Simic and Gruul. Valakut. Okay, so they are in the Valakut line. Good to know. Draw, trigger, Fleshrake. In that case, I was thinking about making a construct, but no longer. I'll play the Grove. I will play the Fleshrake. I will equip Blade to Ballista or to Fleshrake. Probably the Fleshrake, actually. Go to combat for 1 and pass. I mean, if we don't die this turn, we're actually in a really good position to win. Because of Traverse, because we'll have 2, 4. Yeah, we can then Traverse, then play the Broodscale and win. I think that's right. Spelunking, that's fine. Yeah, so I think we have the turn 3 win here, if my math is right. But we don't even need another Blade. We can go... Let's confirm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that should be fine. Do you have a Beseiju? Explore. Okay. Valakut. Untapped. If that's it, we have the game. Traverse will win us the game here. Saga trigger. Sure. Draw. Saga. Float. There's no way that they have Beseiju, so we can just go Springleaf. We can sack Ballista, target you. Trigger. Always yield. I'll then traverse the Uvenwall. Gain them a life is pretty inconsequential. For Broodscale. Play Cavern of Souls. Name Eldrazi. For green. Always yield. And opponent scoops it up. Good stuff. This is Amulet Titan. We were on the play, win for game 1. In that case, yeah, I guess that always opens. So let me move this down to below. Come on, work with me here, game. Shouldn't be this hard on a computer. It's not actually hard on my computer. It's hard on Moto for some reason to resize this. That's way too low. Maybe not actually. Lower? Oh, that seems to be a good spot. Maybe a bit higher. Alright, regardless, we're going to bring in Wastegate Battle Mage, Thief of Existence. We will cut 2 Ballista, Flesh Rake. We don't want to cut the Might. Vexing Bobble's fine. We could bring in a Soul Guide Lantern as well. If we do all that, then we cut 2 Devourer. Yeah? Maybe even cut the 3rd, bring in the 2nd Ballista. But I think... Oh no, we want Damp Sphere. Holy hell. There's a reason why we play those. So cut Devourer. In that case, we can't have everything in. Bauble, Soul Guide out. The Might is more important. Wastegate's more important. Thief is more important. Damning Sphere is more important. So yeah, we'll keep it like this then. On the draw for game 2. I mean, we have Flesh Rake into Flesh Rake on 2-3. We also have the Battle Mage. Yeah, we'll keep this. Draw. Springleaf. In that case, now we still go Halfling. And we still go Halfling here. Pass, because next turn we can Wastegate the Saga. Some gardens, yeah, so they're setting up for that specifically. We'll play the forest, kick with Wastegate. We will deal Arcane You 1 life, and Saga down. And then next turn, we're looking at Flesh Rake into Drum. 2 for an Explorer. That may have been their only way to an Amulet. Picking up Mycosynth, I imagine. Picking up the Forest, okay. And draw, E-Temp. Temp is good. Flesh Rake. Cast Drum. Trigger. Yield. And yield. Drum. Tap Flesh Rake. Flesh Rake. Triggers. ETB. Triggers. Go to combat for 2. Down to 17, we'll pass. Green, blue. Amulet. Makes a copy. Lotus Field. Lotus Field will probably do me in. Simic Growth Chamber's fine. That's only 4. I mean, at this point, we'd pass in full. There's not much I can do. Do you have a +1 in the way of a Arboreal Grazer? I guess that's actually a +3. No, +4? Yeah, it's a plus... Well, it's a -1. Oh, Explore will do it, though. So that's 6. Yeah, they must have drawn into the Amulet. You have the Primeval Titan. You don't. You have a Dryad. So that's 7. That's Titan. Show me you know the line. Because we would go Mirror Pool Lotus Field here. Yeah, Mirror Pool Lotus Field should be correct. What? Why the Crumbling Vestige? 1, 2, 3. That's not enough, right? Oh, I guess it's enough, exactly. I wonder if they're not playing Lotus Field. Okay. Then Echoing Depths? Valakut Hainweir. Okay. So they can now haste both Titans. They can threaten 12. And I think this is still lethal because they'll get triggers off of Valakut. Especially if they have a Vesuva to copy Valakut. But they need it to not be a bounce land. I wonder if this is the old version with the double strike and trample. That could explain the Golgari Rot Farm. There's Vesuva. So yeah, now they trigger, they can blow up my blockers, then smack me in the face. Oh, they're just gonna go for me. I mean, I guess that makes sense. They have trample. So that should be 12. That should be 18. Yeah, I mean, that is lethal damage. So we'll just concede. Yep. Interesting. Yeah, this definitely seems to be an older version of Titan. Alright, we'll cut the gemstone at this point and bring in another ballista. Okay. I think that's the best I can make it. Like, it needs to be just right. Alright. On the play for game 2. I mean, we have the Thief. We have Ancient Stirrings. We have Blade. I mean, we just need a Broodscale. Let me go Ancient Stirrings here. Yeah, go Ancient Stirrings, digging for Brood. If they play an Amulet, then we have the Thief to interact. Same with Spelunking. And if they don't immediately, then we have the Saga. Opponent mulligans down to 3 cards? What? That's a bit aggressive there, friend. Draw. Forest. Stirrings. Probably go K command here. I can dig and ramp. And pass. And pass. Did you find an amulet? You found a vestige. Green. Amulet. Oh. You know what we're gonna do. Ooh, Broodscale. Well, I think we still go with the Thief. I still think that is correct. Thief, trigger, and Postcards. Alright, we'll take the win. We'll be back for match number 3. We're back for match 3 on the play for game 1. Let's take a look. I mean, as a K command can be decent. We're just looking for the Broodscale. Sure, why not? was realizing that I have my mouse cursor still visible on the recording, which might be actually okay to have. That way you guys can see where I'm clicking. His halfling will pass in full. I'd love to see an E-temp or Broodscale off the top, obviously. And pass. Oh, it's another Titan matchup. Did someone win a challenge recently of Titan or something? Is that what happened? So I can play Might the Amulet. Yield. And yield. Oh, that's gonna happen again. I will play another halfling so we can go dig into the K command next turn. If nothing else. We'll love to see a Basiju here. Gruul Turf picks up a Vestige. And passes. Draw. Oh. Well, there's the Broodscale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're currently short on winning. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't want to play the Blade out of fear of a Basiju. But playing the Broodscale seems right here, and holding the K command also seems correct, because we can adapt on end step and get the spawn we need. Permanent Vestige, trigger. Spelunking. Spelunking is fine. Unless they have Basiju mana, we should have the win. Shifting Woodlands is not it. So pause on end step. Adapt. Always yes. Always yield. And draw. Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. Cast Blade of the Bloodchief. Equip Blade of the Bloodchief. Sack the spawn. And we don't even need to go off of the K command, we can just make the Broodscale a 20/20 and swing in. And alright. Another solid win against Amulet Titan. We were again on the play. Right? I want to make sure I was on the play. Yes. Perfect. So again, we're going to want Damping Sphere, Wastegate Battle Mage, Thief. We can cut the Bauble, cut 2 Ballista, 1 Flesh Rake, and 3 Devourer. Because we just are really going interaction heavy. Basically just forcing them to have to combo off on the same turn. Then we also have 2 Basiju. So yeah, between Basiju, Might, Damp Sphere, Battle Mage, and Thief, they're going to have a hard time comboing off. That's 2, 5, 8, 9 pieces of interaction. No, 10 because of Might. 2, 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah. 10 pieces of interaction. And the Haywire Might technically has 5 copies because of the Might plus the Force Saga, which is nice. Alrighty. Well, there is Glaring Fleshrake, there's Dampening Sphere, there's Beseiju. So a lot of good interactions. Saga as well for the beatdown. We'll keep. I'll pass. Beseiju, Amulet. Okay, so we definitely want to go for this Damp Sphere ASAP. I'll go E-Temp and pass. And pass. Another Amulet, so yeah, definitely want to go for the Damp Sphere. Gruul Turf, if they have a Arboreal Grazer or a Explorer, they do have the Titan and the win. So yeah, Grazer Explorer gets them the win. Spelunking does not. Explore, okay. Yep. You have the Titan. Titan or Pact? Pact. Okay, so show me that you know your lines and I'll concede. Titan, Lotus Field, Mirror Pool. Yep, Lotus Field, Mirror Pool. And then after this, I want to see Echoing Depths, Lotus Field. Yep. Show me Echoing Depths, Lotus Field. Yep. And then from here, we want to see Bounce Land, T-West. Did opponent... Oh, I thought they tapped it. Yeah, so Bounce Land, T-West. I guess you could go Hasters instead. I think Bounce Land T-West would be correct. Yeah, Bounce Land T-West is correct here. Yep. There's the Bounce Land T-West. Yep. At this point, they've convinced me that they know their lines. So I will concede. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I could still very well play Titan. I'll be honest, only reason why I don't, because it doesn't perform well on YouTube. It's really hard to, like, break into the Titan content sphere because of all the big names in it. I will cut a gemstone. We'll bring in a ballista. And let's run it back. I guess I could bring in, like, a bauble or a soul guide. Not sure how great those are in comparison. Alrighty. Was that a turn 2 win? I think that may have been a turn 2 win. Yeah, because I only had one land on field. Yeah, they just had the nuts. Nothing I could do about that. Nothing I could do about that at all. I'm trying to think what else the opponent would bring in, but I mean, guess they bring in Fire Spout. Basically, any 3 mana or even 2 mana Pyroclasm effects. I mean, we have the Blade. We have K commands. We just need the Broodscale. Sure, we'll go for it. Logan's a 6. Let's see, opponent will mulligan down to 3, like my last one. No, I'm not that lucky. Grow the Burn Willows, Ancient Stirrings. There's the Broodscale. So, I mean, we could go for the combo, or we could go for the Damp Sphere. I think we go for the combo. Any order, we'll pass. And pass. I mean, next turn I think we just play the Broodscale and try and set up. I need 4. We won't have enough right away for the win. It will need to go until turn 3, I believe. Yeah, I'm thinking turn 3, right? Because next turn we play the Broodscale. Then we'll have access to 2, 3. We'll be able to play the blade, but we won't be able to cast it. So unless... No. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess we could try and go... If we go for a temple, you find a temple. That would allow me to do what? Play K command X equals 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it'd just even be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, if we draw into a temple, then we can go off on 3. Otherwise, I think the earliest we might be able to make it is 4. Yeah, because play 1, 2. No matter what, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, temples are best draw. This comes down to how quickly they can win. Because this won't go off until 4. If we had played this on 1, then sure, but there's no guarantee we're going to find the Broodscale. Because then we could Springleaf, but we no longer have that option. Opponent's thinking hard here on their turn 1. They obviously know that we have the Broodscale in hand. What's their thought here? I mean, if they kept 6... I mean, I'm trying to think about what lines that they could be considering that would be making them pause this much, but nothing comes to mind unless they're trying to figure out if they can turn 1 win, which would just, I don't think, be possible. No, not that I can think of. There's Basking. I guess maybe thinking whether or not they play the Basking. Yeah, that's fair. Damsphere. So in that case, I think we just start off with the Damsphere. We can go Urza Saga, trigger, Damsphere, pass, and pass. I think we might actually K command, because then it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then spawn. So we find another land off the K command. We have the combo? No, because of Damsphere. It'd actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd specifically need a temple off the top in order to get the combo going. Yeah. It still might be right to play the K command, though. If we do find the temple, then we have the game. Well, no. Because we'd still only have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we wouldn't have 5. We'd have to sacrifice the spawn, which is not exactly conducive to our overall. The Seiju's good. Saga trigger. Well, I guess we'll have the Springleaf. Yes. So, okay, we're going to play the Cavern Souls, name Eldrazi. I'm going to hold the K command. I'm going to hold the Beseiju. So it's targeting the Amulet of Vigor. They would have to still deal with the Beseiju. Or deal with the Dam Sphere. So I'm tempted of just allowing this. You have another Amulet, that's fine. But your bounce lands are doing nothing. Okay. I mean, you can bounce the Boseiju back. Green. Yep. Untap. Tap. Boseiju. I will let this resolve. Yes. Because this now allows me to combo next turn. Forest. You now untap for 2. Okay. So unless you have the win here, Explore, you would specifically need Lotus Field. I'm going to let them... If they have it, they have it. Let's see if you have the Lotus Field. If you have the Lotus Field, you win. Maybe not. We can always still interact with the Amulet. Son of a... Okay. Let's see what lines they're going for. Let's see if they have the Titan. It looks like they do. They could also be trying to go for the Aftermath Analyst line. Pact. Okay. Pact for Titan. Titan. We could Boseiju an Amulet. Does that do what we need it to do, though? Not necessarily. Because right now, they can go Mirror Pool and Lotus Field. Yeah, Mirror Pool, Lotus Field would get them there. If we get rid of one Amulet now, they would still be able to go Crumbling Vestige. 1, 2, 3. No, they wouldn't have it if I Boseiju now. Okay, actually, there's a point where we can interrupt their line. I have an idea. So they're going to go Lotus Field and Mirror Pool, because that's the correct line here. Yes. They'll then activate the Mirror Pool for the Titan. We can eat the Mirror Pool in Yard as well as the Lotus Field. Yes. They activate Mirror Pool targeting Titan. Now, before they have an Echoing Depths, we can ramp, we can exile cards in Yard. We can exile Lotus Field, we can exile the Mirror Pool. This then interacts with their overall lines. Yes, this should work. Well, so the alternative line they can then craft is what? They can't Mirror Pool after this. They could go Bounce Land T-West. That would get them 1, 5, 7, 7, 4. So not enough. So yeah, I think this is correct. At this point, I'll pass in full. Yeah, I think this is correct. Because it should cut off Aftermath and their Mirror Pool line, because they no longer can go Echoing Depths. So unless they have multiple Mirror Pool, we should be okay. They still need to make sure they pay for the pack trigger on start as well. They could haste the Titans. Hainware Battlements, Vesuva, Crumbling Vestige. But then what? Bounce Land, T-West, Pact. No, I don't think they would have enough as it stands. Yeah, I think that should throw enough of a wrench into their game plan, where we might be able to stabilize here and win. Of course, they could just attack, pick up Boseiju, pick up Otawara, and that still complicates things. Ugh. Yeah, they needed specifically Lotus Field for that line to have worked. So rough. Maybe I should have just Boseju'd earlier. I guess we also could have held up Boseiju, just in the Mirror Pool, but I think taking a Lotus Field is also right. Because, again, they have to play around the fact that they do need to pay for Pact next turn. Because I don't think they can win at this point by me taking the Mirror Pool. Because, again, a Bounce Land would get them up to 7 with T-West. T-West would then bring them down to 3, or down to 4. So they could play the Analyst, but they couldn't then go for the win. I think the best they can do here is Hainweir and haste the Titans. So Hainweir, Valakut, or Hainweir, Crumbling Vestige. But then they're still going to have to sacrifice 2 lands and be able to pay for next turn. They only have 1 land on field. So bounce land, Boseiju, pick up Boseiju. They would need a green source. I guess they could just leave the Lotus Field then. Yeah, leave Lotus Field on field. Hainweir. Red. Sacrifice Hainweir red. Keep Lotus Field. Attack of Titan, attack of Titan. Bounce land Boseiju. Pick up the Boseiju. That leaves them with 5 for the Pact on upkeep. Yes, that seems reasonable. And then they have the other 2 triggers to do whatever. It could be another bounce land T-West. It could be bounce land Otawara. Yeah, I think they still are looking at the win here. Because they took the risk on the Lotus Field. I mean, yeah. Maybe I should have responded with the to explore with Boseiju. Because, yeah, now I think they have it. Because right now I have X equals 4 for K command. The biggest problem is the fact that if they Otawara or they Boseiju, then we need another blade or to recast the Basking Broodscale. Yeah. I guess our other option could have been to, again, only exile the Mirror Pool and hold up a green source for the Boseiju. That way, when they go to untap with the Amulet triggers for Hainweir Battlement, we could have Boseiju the Hainweir, leaving them with red source, Hainweir, and then Lotus Field. Yeah, that probably would have been the better bet just getting rid of the Mirror Pool and then holding up a Seiju. Because they would have had to sacrifice 2 lands. It would have been the land they get off of Beseiju plus, let's say, the red source. And that would have only left them with 3 green for upkeep. Yeah, so I did miss a line there. Shoot. I did miss a line. We should have just went for Mirror Pool, cutting off the Echoing Depths line. Trying to think if anything else would have happened if we had done that. I don't think so. Yeah, I think that actually would have been the correct line because they would have died to Pact on upkeep had we done that. Because we would have 1 spawn, 1 green, sack spawn, pay green, Beseiju. Whereas now they should have enough for Pact and have enough to set up for enough interaction to kill me. Or rather, I can't win. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I left the Lotus Field in Yard, what other line could they have positioned? Echoing Depths for 3, or rather for 6. I mean, at that point, it would have required them to have another Titan or Aftermath Analyst. But I mean, they could still do that through Vesuva because they have a Lotus Field on field. So they wouldn't need the Echoing Depths. They could instead Vesuva. Well, I guess they can't Vesuva. Oh, no, they can Vesuva because they have Titan. Yeah. They have the Titan triggers. So they could still Vesuva for 6. But again, that would require them to have another Titan or another Pact in hand. So no, I still think the right move... What in the what? Oh, this is strange. Crack Urza Cave? For what? Oh, for Beseiju. Yeah? Is that the thought process? I guess it could be Otawara. No. Vesuva. Lotus Field. What? Do they have the second Titan? Was I right? I guess they could have Cultivator Colossus? Then pick up their sacrifice Lotus Field, pick up Bounce Land? No. Pick up Lotus Field. Paying cost for T-West. T-West gets them another Titan, but now they have to pay 8. Oh, they go for the Aftermath Analyst line. Here's Aftermath Analyst. They only have 1 Lotus Field, though. Because of how Echoing Depths and Vesuva work, they won't see the Lotus Field, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, interesting. Echoing Depths did. Huh. So now they can go T-West for another Pact. Yeah, T-West for another Pact. And from there... T-West for Pact. And Pact for Titan? It would have to be the only line I can think of because they need to bridge the gap over to Shifting Woodland. Returns Beseiju to hand. They're still going to need to make sure they have 8 mana for double pact, but then if they go for another pact 12, they'll need 12 mana if I survive this turn. Searching with Urza Cave for what? Oh, for the Shifting Woodland. Okay, so now they have Shifting Woodland. They have 4 types in Yard for the Aftermath Analyst. Well, that's really fascinating that Echoing Depth still sees the Lotus Field, even though they come in at the same time. T-West. T-West for what? Another pact. How many packs do you run? I feel like 2 is pretty normal. 3 might be a bit unusual. A Crumbling Vestige. So yeah, they didn't have a 3rd pact. Shifting Woodland, target Aftermath. Trigger Aftermath. But what is this getting you? It's just spinning your wheels, right? You don't have a way to haste. You're generating a ton of mana, but then what? I guess, once again, you could hold up a Seiju. I mean, that seems like your best bet is you just hold up a Seiju. I guess you could T-West for an Otawara as well. So at this point, I guess you could just Beseiju my board, right? You could Beseiju my board and leave me with just 3 forests. I actually want to... Yeah, that's fine. I want to hold up now, because if they do go that route, we have Beseiju to interact. Another Simic Growth Chamber. Until the turn, I'll allow the Vigor. I just want to stop on Beseiju. Like, what's the end goal here? You're making, like I said, you're making a ton of mana, but to what end? Picks up Simic, picks up a Seiju, sacrifices. Again, you still have to pay 8. You still have to find a way to pay 8 mana for pact next turn. T-West Transmute, okay. For pact. Oh, you do have the 3rd pact. Okay, now it's 12 though. You pact. Cultivator Colossus. Okay, so you're just trying to get as many on in hand as possible to continue drawing. That way you eventually can get to haste lands. Yes, I see the idea here. Vesuva. Oh, did he not get to it? Yeah, it looks like they whiffed on hitting the haste lands. Curling Vestige resolves. Vestige resolves. I mean, I think we just win by time now. Picks up the Seiju. Picks up a forest. Paying cost for what? Okay. Again, this feels like you're just spinning your wheels. I guess you can have 2 Beseiju in hand. But I feel like the amount of time this is going to take, because this was done pretty inefficiently, is going to result in you losing. Yeah. Okay, searching again? Why are you searching again? For... What did you grab? Oh, Hainweir. I mean, yeah, they could have gone for a Hainweir a lot earlier, right? Opponent says cringe. I'm curious to their thought process here. Oh yeah, I guess with the Urza, they could have went for a Hainweir a lot earlier. Because they're clearly angling for that. Yeah, with the cave, they could have went Hainweir. And through the Hainweir, they could have hasted the Titans. Yeah, if they had just done that sooner... Yeah, that's actually a line I didn't think about with the Urza Cave. If they had just done that sooner, then they would have been able to Hainweir, target a Titan. It still wouldn't have gotten them the win, though. Yeah, they specifically wouldn't have gotten the win. I guess if they would have Titaned Cultivator Colossus. Yeah, so they needed to specifically get through to the Cultivator Colossus in order to win. Because they couldn't mirror pool the Titans since they didn't have infinite Titans. Yeah, that makes more sense now because of the line they're going through. But I feel like they could have gone through that more cleanly. Yeah? Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that could have definitely gone more cleanly. I do think, again, I should have only exiled... Well, no, I guess they still had the second pack, didn't they? They had another way to get to another Titan or the Aftermath Analyst. So I think maybe the best thing I could have done was in response to the Mycosynth Gardens targeting the Amulet, just getting rid of the Amulet. That probably would have been the best move for me, honestly. Rather than hoping they just can't win in one turn through Damp Sphere. Probably. Yeah. So, I mean, I took a gamble that they are going to be able to make a copy of the Amulet, Beseiju the Damp Sphere, and also have a +1, in this case, Explore, and Lotus Field. The odds are pretty low for all of that to line up, but it clearly did. So, it's what it is. We still got the win, so I'll take it. With that being said, we'll be back for match 4. Alright, and we're back for match 4. I'll draw for game 1. I'll keep, as this is a K command 2-on-2. So I do like that. Mulligan's down to 6. Shout out to Logarithm, for watching my videos. Thank you much. Devourer of Destiny, revealed. Let's see what flavor of Eldrazi this is. Also adjust this. I want to be like right here-ish. Yeah. That makes it different. Okay, so it looks like this is Tron, so I'm on a green Tron. Okay, good to know. Draw. Blade of the Bloodsheath. Okay, so we need a green source and Basking Broodscale. Vexing Bobble's not doing too much in this matchup, I don't think, except for Ugin. So we can play the Blade and pass. And pass. Again, we're looking for a K command 2-on-2. And draw. Ooh, Fleshraker. Well, that is interesting. I mean, we can still Cakeman 2-1-2 to try and dig for the green source, or I can Fleshraker now and just try and apply pressure with 3 cards in hand. I mean, that seems appealing to me. Yeah, let's apply pressure to the board. With that in mind, maybe it's right to play the Saga there. 3, okay, command X equals 1. The nice part about putting the Fleshraker on board as well is that they have a Karn, then we can pressure to the Karn basically. 1 card in, or 2 cards in hand, bottom draw. 4 cards in hand now. Tower, 4/5 mana. They play the Karn. There's TKS probably takes the K command. That would make the most sense. You can redraw with the Bauble at least. Yep, K command down. Bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Draw. Definitely not the end of the world. So, Saga trigger. Fleshrake number 2. Trigger. Always yield. Always yield. ETB. Trigger. Cast Vexing Bauble. Trigger, 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 trigger. We can equip to Fleshrake. I'm not sure that's entirely necessary. I'm thinking instead of sacrificing the Vexing Bauble. Always yield. Draw a card. Grow the Burn Willows. That will be good for next turn. We'll pass at this point. And pass. We can make a construct next turn. They have 3 in hand, 5 mana. There's Tron. 7. Ugin, Devour. That's fine. Attack for 4. No attacks. Draw. Trigger. Grow the Burn Willows. Sack 1 and Grove. We're looking for Broodscale. Interesting. I mean, another Fleshrake might be right, because we have to wait a turn for the Broodscale. Fleshrake. Triggers. Fleshrake. All the triggers. And then I can equip. I mean, I could just go, if I equip, we make it a 5/5, kind of meh. So in that case, we can just make a construct. And then go for another 3. And then at this point, we'll pass. So next turn we win. That's kind of where we're at. Yeah, opponent's saying no outs. I don't think they have any outs either. Even an Ugin won't get them there. Ugin will push him with a 7. I'll be able to drain him for another 3. We have another Rumble, which will drain him for another 3. Yeah. I mean, they could K-Command, potentially. Forest. 10. Ulamog? Huh? They said no outs, but they did get it. So exile 2 Flesh Rake. Yes. Draw. Trigger. We had the Ballista, that should be enough. Float. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. So in that case, we can just go Might, ETB, Trigger, Saga Trigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we can go 6 and done. And triggers, and opponent skips it up. Good stuff. So this is Eldrazi Tron. Win for game 1. Let's go to sideboard. So we need to go Pithy Needle, Dam Sphere. Wastegate is also relevant because of Bridge. Dismember's good. Bobble's okay, but specifically into Ugin. I'll probably cut Bobble, cut 2 Ballista, cut Flesh Ray, cut 3 Devourers. Leaves open 1 spot, probably for the Thief, so that way we can grab Karn. Yeah, this seems right. Alright, let's run it back like this. On the draw for game 2. Traverse, K-Command, Saga. Yeah, I mean, we can definitely go for this. I'll keep. I'll pass the Reveal Devourer. The question is whether or not we go Saga on one. Or we go Stirrings. Imprint Devourer. No. Ooh. Okay, yeah, so I think we go Saga on one then. Saga pass. We can then go E-Temp into K-Command or into, okay, Flute for Blade. Flute for Blade is fine. Because we can always Besage it. Yes, that is okay. I'll pass. Temple, do you have a TKS? Looks like you do. You take the K-Command or the Flesh Rake? I mean, Flesh Rake probably sticks out in your mind given last game, so probably Flesh Rake. Which is okay. We have the Uvenwald still. We'll need to deal with the Flute, however. Yep, Flesh Rake out. So we'll set up for the K-Command then. Oh. Well, that makes things interesting. We could play the Broodscale, but then that leaves it vulnerable to a... to a what? K-Command, right? Or Dismember. We could Temple, K-Command, Grove. We'd probably need... the thing is, we need 2 green for Beseiju. Yeah, that's kind of a problem running into. So I don't think I can turn 3 here. I'll play the Temple, I'll pass. We'll hold the K command. For the K command, X equals 1. Here's a power plant. Is this a Karn? It is a Karn. Yeah, so then we'll grab a Liquid Metal. So now they have Chalice. Okay, looking for Chalice on 2, I suppose? Yeah, that could make sense. And, we don't want the forest right now. Saga. Because now we need to beat down Karn. Stirrings. Yeah, so we kind of just need Karn beats. Or Karn beat down because the Disruptor Flute's not our biggest concern. 4 types. Mega Construct. Grab what? I guess we could go Pithy Needle, name Karn. Yeah, that's probably right now. Name Karn, the Great Creator. Play a Grove of the Burn Willows. Let's Ancient Stirrings here. There's Blade. We'll grab the Blade. At this point, I will pass 5 types in Yard. And they grab Chalice. So they could go Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2. We'll take the 4. We have 2 Beseiju. Another E-Temp, 2 unknowns in hand. Chalice on 1. That is fine. Draw. Second Beseiju. Urza Saga. Trigger. So in that case, we can attack Karn. Karn to 1. I will, at this point, cast the Basking Broodscale. And pass. Hope they don't have a K command. Returns, that's fine. 2, 4, 5, 6. They need a land for 7. Okay, they have the land for 7. Nothing to exile, but they do have a blocker, which is relevant. There's Devourer. Draw. A second Blade. Saga. So again, we need to deal with Karn. And we need the Beseiju the Flute. Interesting. I'm gonna go Stirrings, dig for... No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's 1 mana. We'll just make a construct. So no attacks. They need to hold back a blocker is the biggest thing. If they don't, Karn will die. They're holding back both. And as long as they keep on drawing bricks, I'm okay with this. Make another construct. Draw. Grove. I can't just deal with Karn outright yet, so make another construct. You don't necessarily need to deal with the void. We can just grab a blade. So once Karn's down, we're in a good position. Play the Grove. Ancient Stirrings is a no-go. I mean, we could attack with the both constructs at Karn. That is an option. But I think I just hold here. The benefit is I would draw a card. I'm just gonna hold. Okay, so what's this? Another Devourer. Another Devourer. Draw. A forest. We can adapt, of course. So there's a thought too, if I Basiju Chalice, I could then play both blades. I could attack over the Devourers and TKS. I think we do that next turn. I'm gonna pass. I don't want to give them a green source for, let's say, a World Breaker or Myco Spawn, since they don't have it right now. They could have castables in hand, but they're missing the green sources. Plays another Karn just to refresh its loyalty. Yes. No attacks, end step. Oh, I should really have a pause on their second, or on their end of second main. So yes, we could Basiju the Chalice. Now. Okay. And I should have adapted. In that case, I'll play blade number 1. Oh, right. This cost me 4. Annoying. Yeah, I should have Basaju'd that then. I could still do that. I'm gonna start with Stirrings then. There's K Command, there's Emrakul, there's Damsphere. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we don't have enough for Emrakul. We'd have enough for K Command, K Command X equals 2. Damsphere would put a damper on things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'd only have 7. I'd say only 7. Mana. Yeah, I messed up there. I should have hit the flute, I think. I'll grab the forest. Play the forest. Cast another blade. Attack, Karn, attack, Karn, attack, Karn. It forces their hand, right, to block. Karn down. Interesting. I'll pass and full at this point. Five, six. So that's a Myco spawn. So I was right about the Myco spawn then. You can then get Tron. Okay. You now have 9 mana. TKS. You can take the Traverse. But here's the one problem. I lose. Right. Yep, never mind. I was too focused on what my game plan was and not on theirs. Yeah, we'll concede. I guess if I had waited another turn... I'll be transparent. I flew in for my business trip at 2 a.m. and then had to wake up at 7. And then had to wake up again. So I've not gotten a lot of rest, so yeah, my brain was a bit fried there. There were so many different lines I should have taken. The first one being I should have Besage'd the Disruptor Flute. If I had Besage'd the Disruptor Flute in addition to the Chalice the turn prior, we could have done a lot. It would have forced them to block with the Devourers and TKS, right? Because then we would have been able to equip to Broodscale. Yeah, I could have won. Yeah, I could have won. So, loss. So yeah, maybe having the Wastegate is also good here. I wonder if the Haywire Might's actually actively bad because of Karn. Whereas the Wastegate doesn't get stuck underneath Karn. So maybe go to Wastegate. Run it like this. Yeah, let's run it like this. But yeah, no, I could have played that a lot differently if I had just Besaged the Disruptor Flute as well. On the play for game 3. Okay, this is looking promising, though. Yeah, I think I had the win. I mean, they would have been forced to block at that point if I'd gotten rid of the flute. And then I wouldn't have had... Their lethal damage wouldn't have been on board. Rough. Because then we could have went for infinite copies of spawns. They would have been infinitely big. So they wouldn't have been able to win with combat damage. Nor would they have been able to survive. Yeah. To be fair, I realized it immediately after I passed the turn that I A, either should have adapted, or B, that I should have Besaged the Disruptor Flute. I think I also forgot about the fact that Flute taxed me 3 for the blades. Instead of paying 4, if I would have just... No, I don't think I would have had enough. We could go Saga Drum. The benefit of Saga Drum into Halfling... Well, the main issue would be if they Chalice on one. No, but they pull Chalice from side. I doubt they're bringing Chalice main. So we could go Saga Drum, Halfling, which then gives us basically mana neutral. Otherwise we can go Halfling, Saga. Let's go Forest Halfling to start. And pass. This way we can always make constructs and go construct beats instead. Tower. Could dismember it. Yeah, that's fine. Draw. Another halfling. Saga. Halfling. Drum. White. Blade. Pass. And pass. 2, 4, 5. So I need 5 mana next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 1 land. If I have 1 land, then we can win. Draw. Ballista. This works as well. So in that case, Saga trigger. Broodscale. Yeah, Broodscale. You would need another Dismember. Two. Flute Naming Blade. Okay, so now I need to find a solution to Blade. Or not Blade, to Flute. Could play the Ballista. Ballista might not be wrong, so we apply more pressure to board. But the Adapt means we can K-command and dig deeper. I'll pass. And we'll Adapt, yeah. E-Temp. If you have a TKS, that would be frustrating. But it looks like they might have a K-command. End step. Green. Adapt. They get K-command now. And exile the Broodscale. That's okay. Maybe a reason for me to have held or to have adapted on my turn to ensure that it resolved. Yes, this will be a pass in full. No adapt. Draw. Flesh Rake. Float. In that case, let's preemptively go Pithy Needle Naming Karn. I think that makes the most sense. Karn, the Great Creator. Flesh Rake and pass. Next turn we can K-command X equals... Oh, they have Tron now. TKS? There's TKS. Do you take the Ballista or take the command? I imagine you take the command. 2 in hand. Yep. 5. TKS for Ballista. Yes, a double TKS. Draw. Temple. No reason to play the Temple. At this point, we pass. And pass. So then now they're on TKS beats. Yeah, absolutely punted game 2. Ugh. 7, 8. Loveler, target Flesh Rake. Yeah, that's the game. Don't foresee us being able to do too much here, unfortunately. Take the 8 down to 9. Draw. Saga. Nope, that's a game. GG's. Like I said, I 1000% punted game 2. If I had just Beseiju the Flute, it would have forced them to block with the TKS, with the Devourer, with the Devourer. Karn would have still been on board, but they wouldn't have then had lethal on the crackback. Complete oversight on my part. While I could make the excuse that was me being tired, a mistake is a mistake regardless. That said, we'll be back for match 5. Alright, and we're back for match 5. On the play for game 1. Let's see if I can redeem myself after punting last match. Bobble, Stirring, Saga, looking for Broodscale. We can make it work. So thinking turn 2 Beseiju, Stirrings into Saga on 2. That way we can start making constructs as a backup plan. Beseiju, Stirrings. I mean, there's Blade, but we don't really need Blade. So we'll go Grow. So we have another green source. We'll pass. And pass. So next turn, yeah, Saga. Bobble, Stirrings. Arid Mesa, fetch. For Sacred Foundry Shocks. Looking like energy at a glance. Pride or Guide. There's the Guide. And draw. Saga trigger. Cast Bobble. Cast Stirrings. Probably should have cast Stirrings before Bobble, but say levy. Glaring Flesh Rake. And pass. And pass. The question now is whether or not we want to make the constructs or go for the Flesh Rake. 2. Pride. Or rather, Johnny. Attack with Guide. And draw. Trigger. Devourer. Devourer is appealing. So I'm thinking we go Grove, and we'll make a construct. If they attack with just the cat, we can't block. But they'll probably end up floating the Guide of Souls regardless. The worst case scenario, by and large, is going to be a Goblin Bombardment. Dashed Ragavan, that is fine. I will 1000%. Well, I guess, are they going to float the Ragavan? That would be a weird thing to do. Attack. Float. Float what? I mean, I think you have to float the Guide. Yeah. Make a construct. Yeah, why dash the Ragavan there? That feels incorrect. Block the Ragavan. Pass. Down to 14, draw. Ballista. Make... Do we want to make a construct? We could Ballista and then go after the Johnny. Block the cat, ping the Johnny, call it a day. We'll float. Ooh, there's also an idea to grabbing Blade of the Bloodchief here for Ballista. Ooh, that is actually interesting to me. It is a bit of a gamble, though, admittedly. So I'm thinking we go Flesh Rake. And then from here, play another Saga. Equip, Blade, the Flesh Rake, and pass. Next turn, we can do a lot with Ballista and Blade. Hopefully, Flesh Rake does stick on board, though. Sunbaked Canyon. Okay. Static Prison, I imagine goes after the Flesh Rake. Yes. Okay. Well, that does complicate things. Do you have another creature? I mean, you'd have to go Pride. So this will be 5, 6, down to 8. Oh, they do have the Pride. They could have played the Pride. Interesting. That's a weird choice. Yeah, they could have played the Pride, attacked with a guide, floated the cat or a Johnny. Yeah, why didn't they, though? Huh. Okay. Draw. Trigger. Well, now the problem is as follows. I can play the Ballista, I can equip the Blade, but what then after, right? So I think their best bet then, play the Halfling, pass at this point. I can make a Construct and block. So I have 2 blockers. You can float another card. I think you actually win those, the problem. Yeah, because you attack with guide, you float the cat, there's 5. Ragavan. Which means I can't block cats. Because then a Johnny. Oh, you flip a Johnny and then just went from there? Okay. Yeah, the Static Prison kind of put a damper on things. Because if I had been given a turn with either the Flesh Rake or the Ballista, then from there we could have pinged down their entire board. Yeah. Alright. In that case, we want Thief, Dismember, and Fire Spout. Pretty much all our 3 mana value spells. Vexing Bubble's not doing much. Haywire Might is okay, but not doing too much. Maybe run it back like this. Could argue a Pithy Needle. Could also argue Soul Guide. I think Soul Guide makes sense. Cut a Devourer at least. And Pithy Needle really would only be for Johnny or for Bombardment. Yeah, I think we'll keep it like this then. Yeah, like I said, I just need to turn with either the Flesh Rake or the Ballista. And he would have been able to interact a bit more. Alright, on the play 4, gain 2. I mean, there's Broodscale, there's Blade, there's Saga. Let's start off with Forest. I want to play the Blade just as bait and pass. Maybe for that reason I should have played the Saga. Because this way, maybe we see a static prison early. Onslaught Pride. Okay. Draw. E-Temp. I mean, we check for removal, basically, if we play the Broodscale. And pass. Should have probably played the Saga so we can make constructs next turn, maybe. Marsh Flats. They attack. No attacks. No static prison. No static prison. Interesting. Interesting. Play Grove the Burn Wounds. Attempt to equip. At this point, I think I just hold, right? Interesting. Marshflats fetch. Surveil. Looking for a solution. We still need a finisher. I guess the Broodscale now is one. Six in hand, and you're telling me you have no interaction. That's fascinating to me. Draw. Fleshraker. Saga trigger. Cast Fleshrake. Again, this seems like the best thing I should do here is just hold. So if they try and interact, we have the ability to instant speed win. Whereas next turn I'm going to be able to adapt twice. Seasoned Pyro resolves. Pitching 2 lands. Again, we just hold. They can only have one piece of interaction at this point. Saga trigger, and we also have a K command. Saga trigger. Attempt to adapt. And don't skip it. Alright, we'll take the one. I will want the gemstone back, so we'll cut another Devourer and run it back. Okay, we have Fleshrake, Fire Spout, though we are missing red. We can find that with Devourer, though. We'll pass. We also have Dismember, which is good. Malevolent Rumble to dig. So we have some good options here. Fetches Arid Mesa. If you turn on Ragavan, we Dismember it. Yep, we'll Dismember the Ragavan. Trigger. I will grab the Grove. And draw. I mean, we're going to dismember, like I said. Do we E-temp first? I'll E-temp, pass, hold, dismember. This is a fire spout on 3, which is the biggest thing. Ragavan down. So we want to rumble next turn. Either that or probably not Flesh Rake, because we're going to fire spout. Yeah, we're definitely going to fire spout. Draw. Delighted halfling. So I think we just rumble then. I guess we could halfling as a blocker. Rumble. I suppose I'll grab another grove, grab another forest. I'll grab another forest. We'll block with the spawn since it's going to die anyways. I guess not necessarily. We could always keep it, play the fire spout with the spawn mana. Is the Flage? It is a Flage. We'll target a spawn or target me. Does mean they're gonna float. They'll target a spawn, so we will sack it in response. We'll pass. And pass. They'll float, I don't know, the Ocelot Pride. Yep. That's fine. So we'll need to make sure we spend red-green for Fire Spout. There's the Broodscale. Interesting. So Fire Spout. Red. Green. Done. And pass. Only problem I do see here is the Flage. If they do have another land, they can cast Flage. And that will be troublesome. No Flage, but a dashed Ragavan. Down to 9. So now they do have enough mana for the Flage. Pride. To hand. One unknown. K command. Flesh Rake. 5. In that case, I need to give them a bit of bait, I think. So I can cast Flesh Rake. I can cast Broodscale, but then I can't halfling. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Because a Flage will come down and bolt something. Cast the halfling. And pass. So at least we can then block the Ocelot Pride. The Flage will likely hit the Flesh Rake. I'd love to see a Temple off top. Pyro, really? Not going for the Flage? That's kind of shocking. Okay. Pitching 2. A Discharge as well as the Ragavan. White. For Static Prison. Target Flesh Rake. Yeah, that's fine. Would love to see a K command now. One card in hand. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to grab the K command. They don't have a land, but we don't want to risk them drawing into one. So we need to do this now. Ramp and exile. Oh, I need to exile their yard. Ramp and exile a yard. So we can exile 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't really matter too much. Actually, I'll make sure there isn't another Seasoned Pyro in there. There is not. Okay. 1. I guess we should just do 2, because we can block the Pride with the Delighted Halfling. 1, 2. Done. We want to make sure that Flage does not get cast. One, 2, done. So Flage is down. And we'll pass at this point. We do have enough for Devourer if we don't block the spawns. Dashing a Ragavan. Okay. Attacking with those two specifically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I will block, and block. So 1 Ragavan in hand, 1 unknown. Red. Ragavan. Okay, so 0 in hand. They do have City's Blessing. Draw. Fire Spout. I mean, Fire Spout pretty much spells the end for them here. Whereas I could alternatively just Flesh Rake, Broodscale. I think we just Fire Spout, honestly. Yeah, I think that is correct. So go to combat. You might as well swing. Fire Spout. Red. Deals 3 damage to each creature without flying if red was used, so might as well just do all. And done. I guess I should have played the Flash Rake in retrospect. I could have tapped and then cast the Flash Rake, yeah. Land. It's a fetch land. Draw. Beseiju. Cast Flesh Raker. Cast Broodscale. Always yield. Always yield. ETB. Trigger. Play Beseiju. And pass. So we can adapt the Broodscale. Imagine they fetch Surveil here. Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do have Devourer next turn. Sacrifice the Static Prison. We're playing off the top. Here's Flage. Clarion Conqueror. In that case, there's no reason not to adapt right now. Always yes, always yield. So we do need to deal with that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need a land, though. Draw. Fire Spout specifically for flyers. That'll work. Just green. And done. And then let's go to combat, swing for 5. We'll get our Fleshraker back. And that way we actually deal a bit more damage with Devourer. Yep. There's a Johnny. A Johnny's fine. We'll exile the Johnny. Stirrings. I'm not gonna risk it. Exile a Johnny. Always yield. And Bone scoops it up. We'll take the win. Alright, well, that is a 4-1 record at the end of 5. It definitely could have been a 5-0. Like I said, 1000% misplayed game 2 against Eldrazi Tron in match number 4. We realized the mistake at the end that I should have utilized my mana to either A, make a spawn, or B, to besage you the Disruptor Flute. By besageing the Disruptor Flute, it would have forced their hand to blocking our constructs, which would have allowed us not to lose on the crackback, which would have then given us another turn to interact. Of course, they did have TKS and Devour to follow up. So, give and take there. I think I also, in retrospect, I'd have to look back at the recording, may have had enough mana to attack all in, see if they're going to block. Oh, no, but then they just would have blocked, most likely, and I at most would have taken a TKS out. Yeah. I think besaging the Disruptive Flute on end step would have been the play. But, like I said, misplayed. It's been a long day. Not much sleep. Very long business trip. That was a good one, so can't complain too much. Regardless, though, deck performed well. Devour definitely showed where it does have relevance. Still not sure it's the right card. We'll be able to see in the data whether or not it being in the opening hand is increasing our win rate. So we'll have to wait and see regarding that. But otherwise, the core of the deck feels very good. The extra green sources feel very good. It's just, I think at this point, it's these 3 last slots. What goes into these 3 slots? I don't know. Is it Devourer? Is it Chrysalis? Is it TKS? Is it something else that just hasn't been printed yet? Who knows? Hell, maybe it's Tezzeret. The new 3-mana Tezzeret can fetch for our Saga targets. I mean, I don't know if it's necessary. Probably not, to be honest. But it is something to consider. Either ways, though, that there will be the end of today's video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much that I hope that you all learn from me and with my success and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached this point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We are now just under 100 subscribers away from hitting our goal of 1,000. So every subscriber does count. It will mean a lot, as we'll then be able to start monetizing these videos, allow me to start saving up towards a stream PC so I can stream live over on Twitch. In the meantime, though, if you do want to support me monetarily, you can do so over my Patreon, where you get early access to my YouTube videos and any updates I make to my deck guides. That being said, though, folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!